What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, guys? Um, Back here shooting another video while I got the free time. Um, I'm just thankful to have some time. It's like free time. It could be a blessing and it could be a curse at the same time. It seemed like it could be a blessing. It could be a curse. But I just take it more as a blessing, man, because I've been working on and off like all my life. So when it's times like this, you can look at it and feel down about yourself. And I heard a young guy. He was feeling like he was depressed because he lost his job, and he was just like, man, I don't know what to do. And obviously he was shooting a YouTube video, so it's like what to do because this really like the thing that you can do when you don't have like work right now, or your work slowed down, or you're in transition. This is like a great way to like just outlet frustrations and things that's on your mind. You know, um, and just vent whatever you have to say, to the world. You know what I'm saying? So this is a great way. And it's getting better. I think a lot of people are doing it. So am I. So am I. So okay. That damn sun was in my face. I think when I go like this, it blocks it out a little bit. So hold on, guys. Okay, just checking out the scenery. But I want to talk about. I just want a comment on uh, uh, some YouTuber that I saw recently about if you're an average guy here in America, uh, your dating your dating life is just like trash, right? Like you don't have no type of chance at dating. Um, if you're an average guy here in America. I don't like to talk too much about this subject. I won't be talking a lot. Um, Hopefully, I won't be talking a lot about dating or nothing like that. But I just want to get my 2 cents about it because a lot of dudes we can be kind of delusional. We not as delusional as females, but uh, we are kind of get besides ourselves sometimes. You know, we can get besides ourselves sometimes, and I just want to hit on this point. Like, if you are a guy here in America, I'm kind of neutral with this. I don't too much agree or disagree that America sucks as far as dating. I think that as you get older, I mean, let's look at the dating range, like the age range. I think a lot of dudes can get um, besides themselves when it comes to this because we're not taking accountability of your dating age. Like you're like an 18-year-old dude, and you like, man, my life sucks, man. I'm 5'8", and these girls, they just want tall dudes and stuff like that. Oh man, I'm 18 years old and I can't get no ass, and I can't get nothing. You know what I mean? I can't get no booty and nothing like that. And you an 18-year-old dude. I would be like, yo, I can feel sorrow for you. But if you're like a dude that's like mid 30s, 40s, and stuff like that, you kind of had your time. You kind of had your time. And as you see, I'm in my car. I always kept the car. I kept the car since I was 15 years old. That was one thing that I did in life. Like, what I'm saying? I kept the car when I was like 15 years old, 16. And let me tell you, like, just like you see in those old movies with the dude who had the teenager that had the dude that had the car. You know what I'm saying? He had the young females. He was making out with all the young females. You know what I mean? And kind of like that's how my life was. Like, you know what I'm saying, when I was young, in my 20s and stuff, I always kept a car, always kept some drinks, you know what I'm saying, some smoke. Not to say that that's all I had party favors to get the young females, but that just came with the territory, especially being young. And I had a wonderful dating life at 20 years old. You know what I mean? Beautiful chicks that was up in the hood. You know what I mean? Or just round the way chicks. Um, you know. But now, you know what I'm saying? Um, up in age now. I'm not gonna tell you exactly how old I am, but up in age now, and I'm not the tallest guy. You know what I mean? I'm probably around like I'm about 5'9". I'm gaining a lot of weight because I used to be slim. I used to be slim. I'm looking at my old pictures like, damn, I was real small back then. I gained some weight. I'm over 200 pounds now. But even now, you know what I'm saying? Like certain chicks are probably looking at me, but it's different now. Like, because up in age now, like I said, if you like, let's say you like the guy that I seen on YouTube, he was saying that it's pretty much done for him. He said he ain't had a female in 8 years, and he probably like close around my age. So let's say you'll do around about 40 years old, right? Like I said, you had your time when you was in your 20s. I think your 20s, you really should not be trying to go to college and nothing like that. Unless you're really smart, like you really a smart ass dude. But if you're just a regular guy, you know what I'm saying, don't put all your emphasis on, you know, trying to make it and doing all this work and stuff like that, because you're missing out on the good times. You're missing out on your best potential. He said the man top potential is at 40. I think that's like TV show type thing, where you see the dude in Manhattan and he dating the chick in the taxi, and he got a fly chick, he got the suit on, this lady in the dress, and they both well educated. Like, most of y'all guys ain't gonna be that. Like, most of y'all guys is gonna be doing a trade job. Your uniform look all dirty and shit. The truck you riding in looking all dirty boots and shit. And you thinking that your peep is at 40. Like I said, I think otherwise. I think that your peep is probably like in your 20s. When I think back in my life, I'm like, man, my peep was in my 20s. Man, you know, I had like 3, 4 girlfriends at a time. You know what I mean? Not to brag, but I'm just saying though. Uh, things more expensive now, but still, a lot of dudes can't much get to first base. Well, what I'm taking in, and I'm just saying that you maybe kind of got to reevaluate your age, your dating range. Like if you're 40, you may have to start messing with chicks that's like a little bit older. Like if you want to date, you want to date. You're gonna date women that's probably around your age. I say maybe around about. I know dudes trying to dodge that because they don't want to be a stepdaddy or nothing like that. And I think a lot of these females is not looking for stepdaddies, right? Unless she's trying to run some game on you. I mean, a lot of women out there, they might have kids, but um, their kids may not be around them, or I met a young Caucasian lady. Boy, she wasn't young. She was around. She was, let's just say she was mid 30s, and how she was talking like she didn't have no kids around her. That that she just, or she did have kids. Like I said, it probably wouldn't be what she expected me to be stepdaddy if I was to be, if I was to date her and go far with her and stuff. Um, it wouldn't been none of that. You know what I mean? Um, but that's the point though. She was like mid 30s or something like that, and she was nice though. You know what I'm saying? Nice. I couldn't complain. Nice little face, nice little body on her. I was surprised she was that old, but Um, like that's the point though. If you're gonna meet women, they're probably gonna be around your age, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing because as women get older, their skin may not be that tight. They might not have the fancy body like the little young chick has, but their mind might be a little bit more mature. You know what I'm saying? Their mind might be. I know dudes like, man, throw that out the window, man. These chicks, they used up when they get older and stuff. But you got to deal with that. Like I said, it may be where you may have to reevaluate that. It may be where if a chick, I say when it comes to her mind or we can say we can see older ladies like For me, I think that it's there's some women out there that like they could be old, they could be like maybe like they could be mature. Let's say they could be mature, they could be like 30 plus, and they still have like a nice body, they still have like a nice face. I met older women out there, and I'm like, man, shit, I wouldn't mind picking her over like some of these young chicks, you know. And I just think that as as guys, especially if you're an older man, you may have to reevaluate yourself, reevaluate the dating market. I mean, just the dating spectrum altogether. Like, you may. It's not that here in America you are done. Not saying you're done per se, but you may have to reevaluate things. Like, do you have the time? Do you have enough money? What type of woman are you dating? Trying to go after? There's women out there. They may want six figures guys, but they not that high. You know what I mean? I don't get mad when chicks be like, I want a dude that's making $1 million a year or 100 grand a year because it might not be my type anyway. So I'm like, all right, well, shit, all right. I'm pretty sure there's some dude out there for you. I'm pretty sure, I'll hit the data scene hard. I'm like, yo, that just missed me. I'm like, all right, that's one out of the way. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to comb through the mess. You know what I mean? You gotta comb through the mess, and then you'll see, okay, this one right here kind of tight. You know what I mean? She like, 30 something. You know what I'm saying? All right, you already know I ain't gonna, I ain't no step there. I ain't rolling like that. You know what I mean? I ain't got no. You see this watch I'm wearing? Some beat up watch. I step to a chick just like this with a beat up watch. You know what I mean? Or with a regular trucker, plain ass hat. You know what I mean? Like that'd be the best way to step to a woman, anyways, because now she know, okay, if I mess with this dude, I can't expect him to have all this money from me. Because he don't look like he got a lot of money, but he may, as long as he working, like you want those type of chicks. Your dude that ain't really got a lot of bread like that, a lot of money. Like I said, you don't be trying to be something that you're not. You know what I mean? Just say this, hey, hey, this right here, chest all out, nigga. Like, hey, this me, chick. You know what I mean? It's me. You know, um, stomach all bulgy a little bit. You know what I mean? You see my arms and everything, my chest, but yes, hey, you gotta step to it like that and come as you are. You know what I mean? I like natural chicks, anyways. I don't like chicks with like all the BBLs and plastic surgery and stuff. I'm glad that these rich dudes taking those. I'm like, yeah, get that. Hey, you know what I mean? It's somebody for them. You know what I mean? Hey. I'm like, yeah, that one right there tight. You know what I mean? Like, she's not high maintenance. She's a little bit mature. She's not expecting a lot from me. You know what I mean? I can be honest about her, like about my money situation. I can be honest about her. I'm already honest about my looks. You know what I'm saying? No, dudes, it is what it is. No makeup, nothing. You know what I'm saying? No jewelry, nothing. You know? You gotta find those, man. There's still a lot of those females out here in America. So I'll say, hey, you gotta reassess your dating life. You may not be the tall dude. You may not be the dude that got all the money. You may not be the dude that's the most charming. You know what I mean? But there are some things that the woman gonna like about you. You know what I mean? There are gonna be some things about you that's kind of tight as a dude, right? You know, chicks will be flaking out here. Yeah, that's the thing about it. But as a dude, I think um, mm, I can't say that I'm not totally single around here. You know what I'm saying? There's female that be around me a lot, but you know, if I had no women at all, um, I can't be like these other dudes, these dating coaches. They be like, hey, you just need to work on yourself. You need to work on something. You come this dude that got all this and that going through yourself. You need to be in the gym. You know what I'm saying? You need to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? You need to be this and that. Nice and dressing and everything. But nah, I just say you have to kind of, like I say, the ones or twos. Like you got to reevaluate. Some dudes be like, oh, she's a one or a two, and this chick she may be really like with clothes off, dude. She might be like better than a chick that you think is like a 8 or 9. She got a better body than an 8 or 9. I met I've been with chicks like that. They didn't look that good with clothes on, but when they took them off, you was like, damn. You know what I mean? You like how her titties look. You like how her breasts look. You like how her other parts look. Smell good. You know what I mean? So you may just as an older dude, you gotta look for other things, man. I said you gotta reassess. You know what I mean? Because a lot of dudes that got money, they looking for the straight baddie. You know what I mean? Like I want a baddie. You know what I mean? Like that YouTube, he mentioned that if he was to have kids, I guess he ain't got no kids. Like I said, in your 20s, America don't like to do it, like to operate like that. America is about getting success and wealth first and then have kids. But I say, as a man, you kind of lost your leverage then because unless now you got to compete with all these rich dudes that are trying to mess with these little 20-year-olds. You got to compete with the 20-year-old guys that are trying to mess with 20-year-olds. Then that chick might have stuff. She might have a way of thinking like, I just want to mess with a dude around my age. So if I'm 20, he got to be like 23. I know what I'm saying? He got to be like 20, 26 is too old for me. You know what I mean? That's how a lot of American 20-year-olds think, you coming in as a 40-year-old, you just now reaching success and money, and you trying to get this hot 20-year-old. Well, she might not want a dude that's older than 26, and she got a line of those dudes. You know what I mean? You got a line of those dudes. Like a lot of those. A lot of a hot baddie 20-year-old. She got like at least 10 guys trying to hit on that's ready to bust inside of her. You know what I mean? You gotta think, brothers. You gotta think, dudes. A hot 20-year-old, a hot baddie 20-year-old, she got a line of dudes. She got a lot of dudes around the corner that's ready to bust inside of her. you know? So I'll say your best chance was like in your 20s, but that's another subject. Or that's something that could go on forever to talk about. But like I say, just reassess yourself, man. The dating, if you're older type man, here in America, when it comes to dating, there are something that you can find out here. I mean, it's something that you can find out here. It may not be perfect, right? But you're not perfect. You're a little older now. Like LeBron James when he first came out, man, he was all over the court. He was flying all over the court. Now he's a little older now. You know what I mean? You may think you still got it, but some things it's not there. So, all right, guys, till next time.